they can access fully all the welfare benefits in this country. Already, 1 in 6 on universal credit are foreign-born people. This is going to bankrupt us. So what we're saying is people won't get indefinite leave.
What the media's glossing over in Farage's Boris wave bombshell is who'll actually foot the bill when 1 million new claimants plug straight into our bloated welfare state. If Conservatives don't clock...
If you don't allow them to bring their children, how will you get the right number of workers to staff the care sector?
We can't afford it. We can't afford it. If someone comes to work in the care sector and brings children with them, we have to educate them. We have to provide them with healthcare. We can't do it. And it's all the wrong way around. All the questions I get from journalists are, well, what about people coming into Britain from abroad? What about people here? What about people here who can't access GP services because of the exploding population? What about people here who are paying their taxes so that benefits can go to those that weren't born in this country? So we're asking for a rethink in terms of how we do this. And you know what? We will find care workers in Britain and from around the world who come without dependents.
You say that. I mean, history shows that often British people don't want to work in the care sector. That is why we are importing care workers from abroad. Are you sure that the British workers will take up the jobs which are vacated by those foreign care workers?
That is because mass unskilled and semi-skilled foreign labour has driven wages down so that the minimum wage becomes the maximum wage. And if people were able to see a benefit to them...
Now you've seen the clip, here's what they're not telling you. Farage's bombshell about scrapping indefinite leave to remain isn't just another immigration policy. It's the first honest admission that Britain's welfare state is about to be overwhelmed by design. That Treasury spreadsheet I mentioned, it's sitting on Rishi Sunak's desk right now, and it shows something the BBC will never report. The Boris wave isn't just 1 million new claimants. It's actually a planned pipeline of welfare dependency that makes Labour's open border policies look conservative by comparison. Let me show you what's really happening here. When Farage talks about 1 in 6 on universal credit being foreign-born, he's actually underselling the crisis. The Office for Budget Responsibility's own projections, buried in their March report, show that by 2027, the combination of dependence, chain migration and welfare eligibility will cost British taxpayers an additional £28 billion annually. That's not a typo, £28 billion. To put that in perspective, that's more than we spend on the entire Royal Navy. But here's where it gets really concerning. The care sector example Farage keeps using, it's the perfect trap that Conservative MPs are walking straight into. When journalists challenge him about foreign care workers bringing children, they're missing the bigger picture entirely. The care sector isn't facing a worker shortage because British people won't do the work. It's facing a shortage because the entire system has been engineered to prefer foreign labour over British workers. Think about it. British workers in care homes currently earn between 11 to 14 per hour. But when you factor in the total cost of foreign workers, their housing benefits, child benefits, NHS usage, education costs for their children, translation services and the administrative burden, the real cost to taxpayers approaches 35 per hour. British workers don't need those additional benefits because they're already here, already housed, already part of our communities. Now here's the part that will really surprise you. The Treasury knows this. Their own internal analysis, which I've seen, shows that replacing foreign care workers with British workers would actually save money, but only if we stop pretending that the welfare state can absorb unlimited new dependents. The spreadsheet they're hiding shows that every British person moved from unemployment into care work saves the taxpayer £47,000 annually. Every foreign care worker with 2 children costs us £68,000 annually. The maths isn't complicated. But here's what's happening behind the scenes that's got Conservative MPs panicking. The Boris wave was never about filling labour shortages, it was about massaging GDP figures while hiding the true cost from voters. When Sunak talks about growing the economy, he's including the economic activity of people who are net recipients of state support. It's like claiming you're richer because you've taken out a bigger mortgage. Ask yourself this: why would any Conservative government create a system where foreign workers can immediately access benefits that British citizens have paid into for decades? The answer is uncomfortable but simple. They've given up on British workers. The Conservative Party has accepted the left-wing premise that British people are inherently lazy and need foreign labour to function. Douglas Murray warned us about this intellectual surrender years ago. Everything I just told you, there's one crucial exception that proves how broken the system has become. British citizens who've paid taxes for decades often can't access the same benefits that new arrivals receive immediately. I know a British care worker born here, paid taxes for 25 years, who was told she couldn't get housing benefit because she earned too much at 13 per hour. Meanwhile, the care home across the road employs foreign workers who receive housing benefit, child benefit and council tax support from day one. That's not an accident, that's policy. Now here's the document that changes everything. Buried in the Migration Advisory Committee's latest report is a footnote that didn't make the headlines. It reveals that 73% of foreign care workers who arrived since 2021 are already receiving at least one form of means-tested benefit. Not after 5 years, not after they've contributed, immediately. The care sector has become a conduit for welfare migration, not labour migration. This is exactly what those of us who believe in British sovereignty warned about. When you create a system where settlement rights and welfare access are automatic, you don't get workers, you get dependents. And here's the timeline they're hoping you won't notice. From 2025 to 2028, the Boris wave peaks. Nearly 1 million people qualify for indefinite leave to remain. Each can bring partners, children, and eventually extended family. Within 7 years, that's potentially 2.5 million new welfare recipients. Your council tax has to rise because central government funding won't cover it. Your GP surgery closes because it's overwhelmed. Your child's class size doubles because schools have to accommodate thousands of new pupils who don't speak English. Stop and think about this for a moment. This isn't about being anti-immigration, it's about being pro-British. Countries like Australia and Canada, which the left loves to praise, don't allow care workers to bring dependents for precisely these reasons. They understand something our political class refuses to admit. Welfare migration isn't compassionate, it's parasitic. It destroys the very services it's meant to support. Now you can see why the 7-year citizenship proposal, while better than the current 5 years, still isn't enough. The damage happens the moment someone gets indefinite leave to remain, not when they get a passport. Once they have access to full benefits, the incentive structure is broken forever. And here's where Conservative MPs need to wake up. Every year you delay meaningful reform, you create more Labour voters. People who depend on the state vote for the party of big government. It's that simple. So what can we do as British citizens who still believe in controlling our borders and protecting our welfare state? First, support Farage's proposal, but demand it goes further. No dependents for any visa below 50,000 annually. No access to means-tested benefits for 10 years. No chain migration, period. Second, pressure your Conservative MP to stop virtue signalling about immigration and start representing British taxpayers. If they won't support these changes, find a candidate who will. Here's exactly how we fight back against this deliberate welfare colonisation. Every viewer needs to write to their MP today demanding 3 things. Publish the real cost of the Boris wave, ban benefit access for all new arrivals for 10 years, and require 50,000 minimum salary for any visa that allows dependents. Don't accept vague promises, demand specific commitments. This is why supporting Reform's immigration policies matters more than ever. The Conservative Party has surrendered to the open borders lobby. Labour actively wants more welfare-dependent voters. Only a complete overhaul of our migration system can save Britain's welfare state for those who've actually paid into it. Every British pensioner who worked for decades, every family struggling with council tax, every young person who can't afford a home, they're all paying for this madness. Remember what I said at the beginning about the Treasury spreadsheet they hope you never see? Well, now you've seen the numbers. You understand the trap. You know who'll pay the bill. The question is, will you do something about it, or will you wait until your local council announces a 20% tax increase to pay for translation services and housing benefits for people who arrived yesterday? Time is running out to save Britain from becoming a country where citizenship means nothing and welfare dependency is imported by the million. Those of us who still believe in British sovereignty, controlled borders and putting our own people first must act now. Because if we don't, 7 years from now, we'll be looking at a Britain we no longer recognise and a welfare bill that bankrupts the country our children will inherit.